electrical engineering and computer science, but I have more interests. How many of you guys know exactly what you want to do and that's the only thing you'll ever do?
I want to be a pediatrician.
Okay. Do you want to do anything else?
I don't know. It's like my cousin's a pediatrician and like she makes it. She's like really good at it and she asks me for help sometimes.
Okay. What about you?
To be a scientist that does biology.
Uh-huh.
I want to be a Navy pilot and then become an astronaut.
Oh, wow. What are you, any of you guys a little more shaky? You're not entirely sure? Okay. What are you guys deciding in between or are interested in?
For almost every field of science, especially the astrophysics and paleobiology and chemistry.
Okay. How about someone further in the back? What about you guys? Come on. I know it's the end of the day. I was like you guys once. You can say something. Okay. It's okay. I understand. Well, I think what I was trying to say is that you don't have to switch between fields. So one of my really good friends is a pre-med, so she's intending on becoming a pediatrician, but she absolutely loves physics, and I'm talking about full-fledged particle physics, all that stuff. So she's a physics major. Another one of my friends is really interested in psychology, and she loves figuring out how the brain works. So she's actually double majoring in electrical engineering and brain and cognitive sciences. I know computer scientists who are going into linguistics, material sciences who are going into archaeology, mathematicians who are going into philosophy. There's so many different things that you can do. And if you want to study chemistry and become a chemist, it's all right. That's perfectly fine too. My point is that a lot of people go in thinking that if you go into any STEM career, that's the only thing you can do, and that's not true at all. Granted, how many of you, when someone mentioned science or technology or engineering or math, how many of you guys think of labs or companies like Google and Microsoft or even like giant blackboards with equations on them? I think of those. Okay, I will readily admit that. And on top of that, it's also really important to study many different fields. It's actually important that the leaders of tomorrow are well-versed in all sorts of different things. And I can say that because my first year, freshman year in college, I just, you know, a wide-eyed freshman, a bunch of other freshmen with me. First day, we get this unsolvable problem, and that's limiting global biodiversity loss. And then we're given a semester to come up with a solution, make a website and publish our solution, and then present that solution to a panel of experts. And so the point is that that problem is so huge, right? When you hear people talking about that, or like maybe water or food security, there's no one way to solve that problem, and you can't solve that problem in only one way. You have to use all sorts of different approaches. So you can't just solve it using politics, you can't just solve it using economics, you can't even just solve it using science. You need all three to make a solution. So what I'm saying is you can't really go wrong going down the GEMS route, okay? And beyond that, and this is an opinion I really feel strongly about, it's better to go down the GEMS route. So, because even though I have challenging classes, and I won't say I don't, I think it's worth it. And one thing is, I go back to high school. And in high school, I went to Fermilab Saturday morning physics class lectures. So it sounds exactly as nerdy as it is. You go to Fermilab, which is a particle physics laboratory. You learn about physics on Saturdays instead of doing more interesting things. But the reason why I kept going was because I remember at the end of every lecture, I would just sit there and be like, wow, this is the coolest stuff ever. I just want to learn more about it. And so it's just the sense of awe that overcame me, and that's why I kept going. Another reason, which is not necessarily learning involved, is that, you know, it's really fun solving problems. And a lot of times that's what you're doing as a scientist or an engineer or a mathematician. It's just fun turning a problem upside down and trying to figure out a way for things to work. And coincidentally, I try to find solutions to problems that don't exist because I really don't want to do that homework that I have to do, or I have to do something else. So I kind of procrastinate with that. And one of the things that are even better than problem solving is using power tools. So I'm going to show you something. This does not look like anything, but I built it, so it's the best thing that you guys will ever see, because it's mine. So I love using power tools. I never got to use them a lot because my dad was always afraid that I'd chop off my fingers, but I love using them. And so right here, I had, me and my group of friends of mine, we had to figure out a way of displaying how biomass is distributed in the ocean. So we just had marbles fall down. And the reason why I'm showing you that is not because of this or anything else. It's because of bees. Does anyone know what this is? They're socks. They are socks. And I'm just showing this is we had to find a way of getting marbles to go from here to here, or in here to here. We had to cross the marbles, and when they were falling down. So one of my friends was just like, oh, why don't we just use socks? And everyone's like, oh, that's a terrible idea. But it ended up working perfectly. So even crazy, I love coming up with crazy solutions like that. I mean, it looks terrible, it's really ugly, but it was amazing. I thought it was the coolest thing ever when it worked. So there's that. And I just want to end up, one of the best reasons why I think it's important to study about engineering, math, or science is something I learned in one of my humanities classes. So the class was called Becoming Digital, and writing about